Released in late 2015, the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus were an improvement over the iPhone 6 in every single way, with a faster processor, more durable build, a better camera, and 3D touch. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone 6s. Is this still worth buying in 2018? When it comes to budget smartphones, the iPhone 6s might not be the first one that comes to mind, especially with some great new options like the OnePlus 5T or the Essential phone. But if you're looking for a smooth iOS experience without breaking the bank, it isn't a bad option, so let's discuss why. First off, the design of the 6s and 6s Plus still look really modern, mostly due to the lack of change in iPhone design until the 10. Looking at the front of the iPhone, you can't even really tell that the thing is 2 years old. It has the same look as the iPhone 7 and 8, with the only real difference being the physical home button that actually clicks instead of the ones we see on the newer iPhones. Speaking of home button, the iPhone 6s is rocking Apple's second generation Touch ID sensor, and the thing is crazy fast. You put your finger on it and you're in. Flipping over to the back of the phone, we see that this is indeed an older iPhone, with the plastic antenna bands going across the entire back. I honestly don't really like this design, but it comes down to personal preference, and practically speaking, it doesn't hinder the user experience. It does come in various color options, being silver, rose gold, space gray, and gold. When it comes to durability, the iPhone 6s is a beast, while still being quite light and thin, especially when comparing it to my iPhone 10. It is noticeably heavier and thicker than the iPhone 6, but this is totally worth it when you take into account the fact that this thing does not bend. If you're somebody who has a tendency to be pretty rough on their phone, the iPhone 6s is a great option, as in my experience, it doesn't break very easily.
The iPhone 6s also has a headphone jack, so that's definitely a nice feature to have.
Speakers on the iPhone 6s are not very good, but again, it does have a headphone jack, so I'm definitely willing to give it a pass there. The back-facing camera features a 12 megapixel camera and the ability to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, so it's more than good enough for the average person. So if you need a phone that can take good video as well as good pictures, the 6s has you covered. And if you have shaky hands, the iPhone 6s Plus will be the better bet, as the camera is actually optically stabilized. Moving back to the front of the phone, the selfie camera features 5 megapixels and 1080p shooting capabilities. It's okay, don't expect amazing shots with it, but for basic things like Snapchat or whatever, it'll be absolutely fine, and it's a really nice improvement over the 6 and SE. There are two display options with the iPhone 6s, being the regular 4.7-inch screen and the 5.5-inch one found on the Plus model. Which you go for really depends on what you prefer. In my experience, the Plus model feels a little too big, but in all fairness, I do have pretty small hands. The smaller display has a resolution of 750 by 1134 and a pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. So while it isn't the best screen ever, it does have a Retina display, and it's going to look fine in most situations. But if you're wanting just a bit better quality on your screen, you'll like the 6s Plus better, as it has a larger resolution of 1920 by 1080 and pixel density of 401 pixels per inch. While it's technically better, most won't see a difference, and both screens will look clean, sharp, and crisp. The 6s does have 3D touch, which is a handy feature that I've come to really like, but it really isn't a reason to go out of your way and buy this device. Another cool feature is haptic feedback, which is essentially better vibrations on the phone than previous models. You kind of have to use it to understand what I mean, but like 3D touch, it really isn't a necessity, it's just nice to have. When it comes to battery life, the iPhone 6s is okay, but nothing amazing. You can probably get a day out of it from, moderate use, which is generally normal for smartphones. The 6s Plus is quite a bit better, with a large 2750 mAh battery, as opposed to the 1715 mAh battery on the regular size 6s. If battery is a concern as you tend to use your phone quite heavily, the 6s Plus is definitely the better option. Spec-wise, the iPhone 6s is actually still pretty decent, with Apple's A9 processor and 2GB of RAM, which might not sound like a lot, but is more than enough for iOS to run smoothly. The phone can run basically any app, a game, and whatever else with little to no difficulty, and is going to be great for most people. The phone, for the most part, feels spiffy. Okay, so with all this together, we have a pretty decent phone. Nothing amazing, but solid with good speeds, an okay battery, some sweet features like 3D touch and haptic feedback, a decent display, a good camera, and a very durable design. So it sounds like a pretty good package, right? And in all honesty, it kind of is. So that's why when it comes to whether or not you should buy the iPhone 6s or 6s Plus in 2018, I gotta say, yeah, it's worth buying. Probably. Before you commit and decide to get this phone, we should really look at pricing. On Apple.com, you're looking at $450 for an unlocked 32GB model. That's not a terrible price point, but if you're going for this phone, you're probably going to be a lot better off getting it on contract, as not only are you getting it new, you're probably getting it for like $0 with a 2-year deal. Buying used is also an option, and you're definitely going to save money if you're taking this route, with it being around anywhere from $250 to $300 for the base Success model. I definitely recommend avoiding the 16GB model, by the way, as it will fill up very quickly, storage-wise. Okay, so the price is acceptable. The phone is really good. Done deal, right? Not quite. There is a debatably better value iPhone than the 6S, and that is the iPhone SE. It's quite a bit cheaper, and it's basically everything the iPhone 6S is, except with a smaller display and worse selfie camera. If you're interested, I did a full comparison between the SE and 6S, link down in the description below. I also did a video comparing the iPhone 6S to the iPhone 10, so if you want to go check that out, link again down below. The iPhone 6S is still a really good phone. It does everything pretty darn well. Living with it in 2018, it's not an issue whatsoever. I actually really liked it before I upgraded to my 10, and I think you would too. So at the end of the day, should you buy the iPhone 6S in 2018? If you're looking for a solid budget iPhone and really would rather avoid the Android side, then absolutely. It might be getting old, but it's a really nice phone and one I have to recommend. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want to see more videos just like this. Comment down below what you think of the iPhone 6S. I'm really curious to see what y'all have to say. My social media is linked down below, and with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.